Huge breaking news from King Charles. New rules just signed that could kick Archie and Lilibet out of the royal line of succession forever. Raised in California, not working royals? You're out. This changes everything. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Royal Daily Report, where we cover the biggest royal stories with the real facts. Today, we talk about King Charles's brand new rules that shake up the future of the royal family. Make sure to subscribe right now and hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss what's next. Channel name on screen, Royal Daily Report. Let's dive in. King Charles just signed off on a brand new rule, one that would change the future of the royal family forever. The rule is simple, but its impact hit like an earthquake. That any child who wants to stay in the royal line of succession must be raised full-time in the United Kingdom under direct royal supervision. No exceptions, no shortcuts, no special treatment. And the moment that rule was revealed, everyone knew exactly who it affected first. Archie and Lilibet, Harry and Meghan's two children, born and raised thousands of miles away in California, instantly fell outside the requirement. They have never attended royal traditions, never lived inside the palace structure, and have no real connection to day-to-day royal life. Inside royal circles, sources whispered that this wasn't just a routine update. It was a message that the monarchy was moving on, a message that the next generation, or at least some of it, would be chosen carefully. And for Meghan Markle, this hit deeper than anyone else. Because for her, this wasn't just about titles. It was about belonging. It was about recognition. It was about making sure her children were seen as part of the story she believed they deserved to inherit. But this rule told her something she never expected to hear so plainly. The monarchy decides who belongs, not her. And this was only the beginning. If you're watching this right now, pause for just a second and hit that subscribe button for Royal Daily Report. We're bringing you the most exclusive royal coverage you won't find anywhere else. Turn on notifications so you never miss a breaking story. This is just the beginning of what we're uncovering today. And trust me, you need to stay tuned for what's coming next. Subscribe to Royal Daily Report right now. Before the dust even settled, another shockwave hit. Yet King Charles introduced a second rule, and this one cut even sharper. Only the children of active working royals will stay in the line of succession. In other words, only the children of royals who show up for duty, serve the crown, and represent the monarchy would hold their place. Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties in 2020. They made a choice: freedom over royalty. And now, years later, that choice had come full circle. Their children no longer fit the new system. Behind palace doors, advisors described it as a structural update, a clean, organized way to slim down the monarchy and protect its future. But in Montecito, sources say it felt like something else entirely. A quiet punishment, a stripping away of the last thread connecting Meghan's family to the crown, a reminder that decisions have consequences, and a warning that the royal family was no longer willing to bend or twist the rules to keep the Sussex branch included. This wasn't personal, the palace insisted. But to Meghan, it was impossible to see it any other way, because for the second time in a matter of days, a rule had been written that pointed directly at her children. And it was written in permanent ink. Now, let me explain what this really means for Harry and Meghan's family. When these two new rules were announced, they didn't just affect paperwork or official documents. They affected the very identity of Archie and Lilibet as members of the royal family. Think about it this way. Up until now, despite living in California, despite not being part of royal events, these children still held a place in the line of succession. They were officially recognized as part of the monarchy's future, even if they lived far away from London. But with these new rules, that connection is being severed. The first rule about being raised full-time in the UK under royal supervision is particularly significant. It's not just saying the children need to visit occasionally or attend a few events. It's saying they must live there, grow up there, be shaped by royal tradition and protocol from a young age. This is something Archie and Lilibet have never experienced. They've grown up in sunny California, far from the cold formality of palace life. They don't know what it's like to walk through Buckingham Palace halls, to attend state ceremonies, or to be surrounded by the strict rules that govern every royal child's upbringing. Are you still watching without subscribing? You're missing out on becoming part of our Royal Daily Report community. We've got thousands of subscribers who rely on us for the truth behind the palace walls. Don't be left behind. Hit subscribe now Smash that notification bell and join us as we expose what's really happening in the royal family. This story is just getting started, and you need to be here for every moment. Subscribe to Royal Daily Report right now, and let's continue this journey together. The second rule about active working royals is equally devastating for the Sussex family. This rule essentially says that if your parents aren't serving the monarchy, if they're not doing official duties, then you don't deserve to be in the line of succession. And Harry and Meghan made their choice very clear back in 2020 when they decided to step away from royal duties. They wanted freedom. They wanted privacy. They wanted to build their own lives in America without the constant pressure and scrutiny of royal life. But that decision came with consequences. And now, years later, those consequences are becoming crystal clear. Their children who had nothing to do with that decision, who were just babies when their parents chose to leave, are now paying the price. Some people might say this is fair. After all, why should children who don't participate in royal life, who don't serve the crown, who don't even live in the country get to keep their place in line for the throne? But others argue this is cruel punishment, taking away something from innocent children because of choices their parents made. Just when it seemed the situation couldn't escalate more, another move emerged from inside the palace. This one quieter, colder, and far more unsettling. A formal clarity review. Normally, these reviews are simple checkups, small teams verifying paperwork or updating records behind the scenes. But this one was different from the start. According to insiders, the people assigned to this review weren't just office staff or archivists. They were constitutional experts, legal advisors, historians, palace officials specializing in succession law. That combination only appears when something is seriously disputed or when a situation holds long-term consequences for the crown. The review's focus: everything connected to Harry, Meghan, and their children. Birth documentation, medical confirmations, paperwork that should have moved automatically but didn't. Timelines surrounding their departure, eligibility requirements that were never tested before. It wasn't a hostile investigation, but it was thorough, detailed, methodical, the kind of review that slowly removes anything uncertain and reveals anything that doesn't add up. Let me break down what a clarity review actually means, because this is crucial to understanding just how serious this situation has become. A clarity review is not something that happens every day in the royal family. In fact, it's extremely rare. These reviews are typically reserved for moments when there are serious questions about legitimacy, documentation, or constitutional requirements that haven't been properly verified. The fact that King Charles ordered this review specifically focused on Harry and Meghan's children tells us that there are concerns within the palace about something. Now, what exactly those concerns are, we can only speculate based on the information coming from palace insiders, but the scope of this review is unprecedented. They're looking at birth documentation, which means they're verifying that all the proper records exist and were filed correctly. They're examining medical confirmations, which suggests they want proof of the circumstances surrounding the births. They're analyzing timelines, trying to piece together exactly what happened and when. And they're bringing in constitutional experts, which means they're preparing for potential legal challenges or changes that could have massive implications for the entire monarchy. I want to take a moment to thank all our subscribers who have been with us on this journey. For those of you who haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Royal Daily Report is your trusted source for real royal news, not the sugar-coated versions you get from mainstream media. We dig deeper, we ask tougher questions, and we bring you the stories that matter. Hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on all notifications and become part of our growing community of royal watchers who demand the truth. Don't miss another second of this explosive coverage. Subscribe to Royal Daily Report. Now, as the monarchy tightens its rules, another force rises behind the scenes: Prince William. For years, he stood quietly in the background, learning from his grandmother, watching his father prepare for the crown, and studying every political storm the monarchy survived. But now, insiders say William has stepped into a far more decisive role. He is no longer simply the future king. He is becoming the protector of the institution. Sources close to the palace claim William has little patience for anything that threatens the stability of the family or the legacy he is set to inherit. And after years of public drama from Harry and Meghan, interviews, accusations, and explosive documentaries, William's tolerance has worn thin. He is described as firm, focused, and completely unwilling to bend. According to those familiar with the discussions, William is prepared to make hard choices, including supporting the removal of titles, if doing so protects the monarchy's long-term future. One advisor put it bluntly, William will cut a limb to save the body, and he doesn't see this as vengeance. He sees it as responsibility. Where Harry stepped away, William stepped forward. Where Meghan challenged the system, William reinforced it. And where Charles began reshaping the monarchy, William is preparing to finish the job. The message behind closed doors is clear. The crown cannot carry instability into the next generation. Not under William, not under the future king. William's role in all of this cannot be understated. While King Charles may be the one signing off on these new rules, many palace insiders believe that William is the driving force behind the strategy. He's watched his brother's departure cause chaos and controversy for years now. He's seen how the Oprah interview damaged the royal family's reputation. He's witnessed the Netflix documentary and Harry's memoir expose private family moments to the entire world. And through it all, William has remained committed to his duty, to his role, to the institution. But that commitment comes with a price. William knows that for the monarchy to survive and thrive in the modern world, it needs to be streamlined, focused, and free from constant drama. He studied how other European monarchies have modernized by becoming smaller and more efficient. And he believes that's the path forward for Britain as well. So, when it comes to Harry's children, William's position is reportedly very clear. If they're not going to be raised as working royals, if they're not going to serve the crown, then they shouldn't hold positions in the line of succession. It's not personal for William, it's practical. It's about protecting the institution he will one day lead. We're halfway through this incredible story, and if you're not subscribed to Royal Daily Report yet, you're making a huge mistake. This channel is dedicated to bringing you insider information, expert analysis, and breaking news about the royal family that you simply won't find anywhere else. Every video we create is packed with exclusive details and insights. So do yourself a favor right now. Hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and join the Royal Daily Report family. We're in this together, uncovering the truth one story at a time. Subscribe now and let's continue. While William strengthens his position, Meghan begins preparing for something far more confrontational, a legal battle. Sources say Meghan has spoken with lawyers in both California and the United Kingdom, determined to examine whether the changes in succession rules violate the historic 1701 Act of Settlement, an act that has shaped royal inheritance for over 300 years. To Meghan, the timing of these new rules feels targeted, personal, deliberate, like someone is trying to erase her children from the royal picture. She believes the palace is changing the rules because of Harry and Meghan's departure. The monarchy insists the changes were overdue. But either way, Meghan is ready to fight. Legal advisors warn her that challenging the monarchy is never easy. A lawsuit doesn't stay private, it doesn't remain clean, and it forces everyone involved to give evidence, real statements, real documents, real proof. And that's where the danger begins. If Meghan moves forward, Harry will be forced into the one place he has avoided for years, choosing a side publicly. Standing with Meghan means standing against his own family in court under scrutiny with no turning back. Standing with the palace means breaking the bond he promised never to abandon. For Meghan, the fight is about recognition. For the monarchy, it is about order. For Harry, it is about choosing between two worlds that cannot exist together anymore. The battle hasn't begun yet, but the lines are already being drawn. Now let's talk about what a legal battle would actually look like, and why it's such a dangerous path for everyone involved. First, understand that challenging the British monarchy in court is not like suing a regular person or company. The monarchy is protected by centuries of law, tradition, and constitutional safeguards. The Act of Settlement from 1701 that Meghan's lawyers are examining is one of the most important documents in British constitutional history. It established the rules for who could inherit the throne and set up the line of succession that still exists today, with some modifications over the years. If Meghan tries to argue that the new rules violate this act, she's taking on not just the current royal family but the entire legal framework that supports the monarchy. Her lawyers would need to prove that King Charles overstepped his authority, that the changes were discriminatory, or that they violated established constitutional principles. This is extremely difficult to do because the monarchy has broad powers to regulate its own succession and internal rules. But here's where it gets even more complicated. If this case goes to court, it opens up discovery, which means both sides have to produce documents and evidence. For Meghan and Harry, this could mean having to provide detailed birth records, medical documents, and other private information about their children that they have worked hard to keep confidential. For the palace, it could mean exposing internal communications, discussions among senior royals, and the real reasons behind these rule changes. Neither side wants this kind of exposure, but if the legal battle begins, neither side can control what comes out. And that's what makes this such a dangerous moment. Because once those documents start being filed, once depositions start being taken, once evidence starts being presented in open court, there's no going back. The damage will be done and it will be permanent. Listen, if you've made it this far in the video without subscribing, I don't know what else to tell you. Royal Daily Report is bringing you the most comprehensive, detailed, and honest coverage of the royal family available anywhere online. We don't just skim the surface, we dive deep into every story, explaining the implications, the history, and what it all means for the future. You deserve to be informed, and we're here to make sure you are. So, right now, stop what you're doing. Click that subscribe button, smash that notification bell, and become an official member of the Royal Daily Report community. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. Subscribe now. Now, the storm sits directly over the royal family, and the crossroads is impossible to ignore. On one side, the monarchy is reshaping itself. Rules rewritten, titles redefined, succession realigned, a clarity review digging into the past with quiet precision. Like King Charles is no longer bending. William is not compromising. The palace is closing ranks. On the other side stands Meghan, determined, furious, and prepared to fight for her children's place in a world she believes they were born into. She sees the rule changes as erasure. She sees the clarity review as invasion. She sees the distance between London and California growing deeper every day. And standing between these two worlds is Harry, a prince without a home base, a husband trying to protect his family, a son watching the gates of his past close tighter and tighter. Sources say Harry feels the pressure building, the choices becoming sharper, the decisions becoming unavoidable. Because if Meghan pushes forward with legal action, the monarchy will be forced to respond in ways that expose everything. Documents, testimony, private history, unspoken moments the royal family has kept hidden for generations. And once that begins, there is no returning to peace. Let me paint a picture of what Harry must be going through right now, because his position is perhaps the most difficult of anyone in this entire situation. Imagine being torn between the family you were born into and the family you chose to create. On one side, you have your father, the King of England, who is implementing rules that directly affect your children. You have your brother, the future king, who seems to support these changes and shows no willingness to compromise. You have an entire institution centuries old, backed by tradition and constitutional law, moving in a direction that excludes your kids from their royal heritage. On the other side, you have your wife who is fighting for your children's rights and recognition. You have two young kids who had no say in any of these decisions, but are now caught in the crossfire. You have a life you've built in California, away from the pressures of royal duty, but also away from the family you grew up with. And you're stuck in the middle, knowing that whatever choice you make will have permanent consequences. If Harry supports Meghan's legal fight, he's essentially declaring war on his own family. He'll be standing in court or at least backing a lawsuit that challenges his father's authority and questions the monarchy's right to make these rules. That's not something the royal family will ever forgive or forget. It will burn every remaining bridge Harry has with his father and brother. But if Harry refuses to support Meghan, if he tells her to back down and accept the palace's decisions, then he's betraying his own wife and children. He's admitting that the monarchy matters more than his family. He's choosing duty and tradition over the people he promised to protect and stand with no matter what. This is the moment before the break. The moment the future of two royal children becomes the centerpiece of a constitutional storm. The moment a family conflict turns into a historic reckoning. The monarchy is preparing to move on. Meghan is preparing to fight back. And Harry is preparing for the hardest choice of his life. But one thing is certain. Whatever happens next will not be quiet. It will not be gentle. And it will reshape the royal family forever. Because this isn't the end of the story. This is the spark, the moment before the explosion. And think about the broader implications of what's happening here. This isn't just about two children losing their place in the line of succession. This is about the future of the monarchy itself. King Charles and Prince William are making a statement to the world. They're saying that the royal family will be smaller, more focused, and more selective about who gets to be part of the official succession. They're saying that living in another country and choosing a different life means giving up your royal privileges. They're saying that duty comes before everything else, including family bonds. But they're also taking a huge risk because by explicitly targeting Harry and Meghan's children, they're inviting criticism, controversy, and potential legal challenges. They're creating a permanent rift in the family that may never heal. They're gambling that the public will support a streamlined monarchy more than they'll sympathize with two children who had no choice in any of this. It's a bold strategy, and it could either strengthen the monarchy for generations to come or expose it to unprecedented scrutiny and criticism. We're coming to the end of this deep dive. What do you think about these new rules? Is the monarchy right to slim down, or is this unfair to Archie and Lilibet? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you want more exclusive royal coverage like this, subscribe now to Royal Daily Report. Hit the bell for notifications, like this video, and share it with friends. Thanks for watching. Stay informed, stay connected. This is Royal Daily Report signing off. See you next time.